Hello, heart dwellers. I just felt also the Lord wanted me to share another time that I went to heaven. I was lying in my bed, and I was closing my eyes, and I went to heaven. And when I went to heaven, there was this great big banqueting hall. There was all these people, and they were shouting and celebrating, and I was the guest of honor, and they were celebrating and saying, "Victory, victory, you're such a great victory," and everything. Now this was a year or two ago, and I don't know about you guys, but I have found that it's just gotten harder and harder and harder. And at that time, I did not feel like a victory. I felt like we were losing. I felt like there was struggles, that it was just suffering after suffering, struggles after struggles, more stuff to work on, more burdens and everything. So when I saw all these people rejoicing, and just so celebrating and so happy, and it's like, oh, victory, I lost it. I lost it in front of heaven, in front of all those gracious, glorious saints. I had a temper tantrum meltdown in front of all of them. I, the guest of honor, yelled and screamed at them saying, "What are you doing? You're saying that we are victors? We're saying that we're winning? We're losing down here. We're dying down here. Our hearts are breaking down here. Everything is just falling apart. Why in the world would you say that we are victors? What are you talking about? Don't you see how much pain and sorrow we're going through? Don't you see what's going on?" And in that, I was so angry and so upset, I ran out of that banquet hall with everyone just standing there, shocked in a way. Because, well, they had already seen me and stuff. And I just ran into the garden. Because I couldn't deal with it. I just couldn't deal with it. And then I ran and I found a bench and I just cried my eyes out. Just in angry, terrible, self-righteous, just pity tears, honestly. And I felt that I was so angry and stuff and everything like that. Jesus wasn't coming near me. Like, he was like, "I'm not touching that." And God the Father was, "No, I'm not touching that either." And everyone just left me alone and just gave me space because they knew I needed that. The only one who was willing to come and be with me was the Holy Spirit. And he came and he sat down beside me with my tears and everything. And he said, "Well, that was nicely handled." "Yeah." "Need a hug?" "Yeah." And then he put me in his arms, and then we started talking about all the bitterness and resentment and pain that I had been carrying all this time when I've just been going, instead of actually dealing with it. And that all just spewed out in front of everyone. And it was just not pretty at all. Well, a month later, they actually did it again. In their mercy and in their love, they actually started the actual party again. And they actually had people there. And everyone back was there and everyone was celebrating. And this time, I had actually worked out some of this stuff in my life and in my heart and everything, that I was actually able to accept it. And able to accept that this is the truth and this is what's going on. And yeah, so Jesus wanted to introduce me to a couple of people. So the first people, of course, he introduced me to was my grandmothers, my two grandmothers, my grandfather, and my great-grandfather who was there. And they were saying that they were praying for me and they were supporting me and they were behind me in all this. And then the Lord said he wanted to introduce me to some of my mentors. I've always wanted mentors, but I've never felt I found anyone really to be a mentor. I've always mentored others. Jesus and the Holy Spirit's been my mentor. But then he brought me to a couple of people. I believe one was St. Therese. The other was St. Francis, St. Padre Pio. They were introduced to me. There was another saint who was this small African lady, but had the spirit that just took up the whole room. She may be small, and I know small. My grandmother Ruth was small, but her spirit was strong, and boy, she had everyone around her. And this grandmother was the exact same way. And she's like, I'm watching you, girl, and I'm going to keep praying for you, and you're going to get through this, and it's going to, just keep dancing, girl. And it's like, and she just kept on loving me with that Southern African love. And it's just like, oh, I love it. And so, yeah, white girl and this African lady's like mothering me. And it's like, I love this girl. Yes! So, I do not know what her name was. I don't remember. But I know she's definitely a powerhouse in heaven. And she's got my back. And it means the world. And then Jesus said, there's one more person I would like you to meet. And he took me across to where God the Father's throne was. And on the right side, standing very close to the throne, was Mother Mary. This was the first time I was ever actually introduced to Mother Mary. And it was actually around the time that we were actually introduced to Mother Mary that I had this vision and I had this time. And I just felt like I was being brought home by Jesus. As you know, when someone's found someone that they love and someone that they'd like to maybe spend their life with, and they're taking them home to their parents for the first time. And that's what I felt. I was going to meet the mother of my beloved. And I don't know about you, but I've had not very good experiences in this life when it comes to in-laws. Some people have had, but Mother Mary was so loving and so gentle and so kind and so humble. And she put her arms around me and just said, I am so happy to meet you. I've been so looking forward to meeting you. And she accepted me and loved me, and it's like she's like, welcome to the family. I am so glad you're here. I'm so excited to meet you. I'm so glad to just hang out with you. And since then, it's like we've had discussions and we've had talks, and I've gone to heaven, and it's like she's been making a veil for me for my wedding day with Jesus. And it's like, I have never felt such love and acceptance and motherliness. She is so our mother, everyone. She is such the kindest, compassionate, loving mother who is a listener, who is full of wisdom, is full of guidance, full of truth, and full of prayer. And she's there for us. And she's with us, and she's for us. So I hope this encourages you all that heaven is for everyone. That heaven is for all who wish to come. Even if we're in a bad place, in a bad position, or in the bad thoughts, He will help us through it. And He will help us clean it out. And He's always for our benefit. And Mother Mary is such a blessing and is the best mother of all. May the Lord bless you and keep you.